What is going on, YouTube? Check it out. We finally made some room. We got the CRV on the lift. That means we're going to be putting a transmission in this thing today. Yes, the transmission is garbage. It does not shift over second gear and it barely wants to move. So, I mean, it's a good car. It's running good. The engine sounds awesome. We just got to put a transmission in this thing. So I'm going to hit the junkyard. I'm going to go to pull it. Hopefully there's a couple of them sitting on the ground, but I'm going to take all the tools just to be prepared anyways. So let me pack my bag. I'll show you guys what I'm going to take and we'll be off to pull it. All right, guys, so I got my bag up here and we're going to start throwing some tools in this. I always take my Husky box. I've had this thing since I was 16. I still have all the sockets in here except for the two 10mm. But these ratchets are garbage, so I'm going to go ahead and grab my good ratchet, my good 1/4-inch ratchet, toss them in my bag. I'm probably going to need some extensions for that 1/4-inch one, so I'm going to grab those, and I'll just take this screwdriver just in case if I got to do anything with the screwdriver. I'll take my electric ratchet, because that thing's a lifesaver. And then I'm going to probably take a couple of long 3/8 or 5/8, whatever you call it, extensions there. And then I don't like messing around, so what I end up doing is I just grab every single one of my wrenches here. So like that. Shove those all in one corner right here. That way I know they're just right there in that corner. And then usually I end up taking the big crescent wrench in case if I got to do a bigger one than all my wrenches. So that's for that top drawer. That looks like it's probably going to be it. Then usually what I end up doing is I go down my toolbox. You know, might maybe need some side cutters, you know, maybe need some channel locks, something like that, you know. These are kind of specialty tools. Really probably won't need any of these. These are A-bits, Torx, more Torx that are 1/4-inch, and the Allen wrenches. Don't think there's anything on Honda like that. Then we get down here and I'm gonna need a pry bar probably to pry the transmission apart, and I'll probably take 2 of those. You know, screwdrivers, we already have our mechanical screwdriver. Take a hammer for shits and giggles. And yeah, I mean, this drawer's pretty much good to go too. So when we get down to our heavy artillery, definitely going to take my big impact. That thing's a lifesaver as well. I'll take my medium-sized one with my adapter on there, because that's probably the one I'm going to be using to do everything. And then I will probably just take common sizes for Honda, so which would probably be a 17, 19, and maybe a 21, right? And for my shorts, I'll probably go with a 14, a 17, a 19, and a 21. And I'll toss those in there as well. And maybe the 15, just for shits and giggles, right? So other than that, everything looks good. Maybe just my little extension. Don't think I'll need the big one. And then we're just going to use an axle socket, so I'll get that thing out of there. And it's either going to be a 32 or a 34 on Hondas. I'll probably check it here before I leave, just to make sure I have the right one. But yeah, guys, so I'm going to go ahead and toss all this in the back of the truck, and we'll be on our way. Alright, guys, so I tried the 34 and it doesn't quite fit, so go with 35. Doesn't fit either, so it's actually, I think, going to be a 36. Yeah, damn. So that one's a 36, but I'm going to end up taking the 34 anyways. I'll take 34 and 36 just to be safe, because I think on some of them they're 34s. But let's get everything packed up and we're off to pull it. All right, guys, so check it out. We just got here and look what we got sitting on the floor. Looks like somebody already pulled this for some reason. They got the engine and the block hanging down, but I'm just gonna bolt the thing and get on our way. So doesn't look too hard. We might just have to cut a couple lines and call it a day. There's also another one back here, but this one looks like it's only front wheel drive, but that one's just chilling there too. So these things are just everywhere. I just seen another one over here. Check it out. That one's just chilling there too. But yeah, guys, but we're gonna go ahead and do this front one here. Looks like this one's a 97, so hopefully it's the same. And yeah, we'll get to it, man. I'm gonna unbolt this thing and we'll be out of here. Alright guys, so we made it back to the shop. I got that transmission from the junkyard. It is actually the next day. I didn't get a chance to work on it that same day, but we're gonna start on this CRV here. So I'm gonna start by actually disconnecting the battery, and then I'm gonna get the starter out of here. I'm gonna probably loosen up all the bolts all the way around the bell housing. You got a couple 17s, and those bolt straight into the block, and then it's as simple as just undoing your wire harness. So it looks like you got a connector right down there for a vehicle speed sensor. Looks like you got one right here. I don't know what that's for, maybe an actuator or something, or the solenoids. And you got one up here for your reverse light. So I'm gonna get all that done. Oh, and then we also have two lines here. We got to disconnect those. Those are for your transmission cooler. So I'm gonna go ahead and put you guys on a time lapse. I'll get all that done, and then we can go to the bottom. We'll start in the suspension. All right guys, so I ended up getting the drive line out already. It pretty simple. It's got 4 bolts back here. It's got 2 bolts here for a carrier, and it's got a couple straps going around it here and here, and 4 more up here. And then that thing just drops straight down. Just put it off to the side. But it looks like our next step is going to be to get these axles out. So in order to get these axles out, you got to pop off the ball joint, take this bottom strut arm off, and you got to get this arm to hang down, and you can slide that axle out of there. And I'm probably gonna have to take out this intermediate shaft here as well. So it looks like that one's got a couple bolts there, and then this axle over here on this side, it looks like it just pops right out. So should just pop out. Got to take this lower control arm off and this ball joint here. So once we get all that out, should be able to slide that axle out. So I'm gonna go ahead and put you guys on another time lapse, and you can see how we do that. All right guys, so check out this drain plug here. You got the oil draining, but damn guys, that thing is covered in metal shavings. So yeah, that transmission was probably bad. I mean, you can see all that. It's just metal shavings. So yeah, that's probably why I didn't want to shift or anything like that. I got the oil draining, but you guys can see here real quick what I did was I ended up just taking the bolt out of the shock here, pull it forward a little bit. You can swing it over to the side. That gives you enough room to get your axle out. So all you gotta do is pop it out with the pry bar here. I'm gonna get my pry bar under here. Oh, damn wind. Oh well. So you get your pry bar in there, right in there, and then you just pop it off, just like that. So then you can just pull your axle out here. Maybe gotta wiggle it a little bit. There it goes. Should be able to slide it between there, and it comes right out. Just like that, guys. So now we just gotta do the same thing to the other side, and I'm probably gonna remove that half shaft as well. So you get an open hole kind of looking like that. And drain your fluid before you pull the axle out, because you will spill a little bit. So yeah guys, I'm gonna keep on going. I'll do the other side, and I'll get you guys an update whenever I do something else. All right guys, so we got our axle shaft out. Actually, we got both of them out. So now we just got to do this little half shaft here, and all it is 3 bolts. You can see there, 1, 2, 3. All we got to do is loosen those up, and this axle should just slide right out. And then we go on to the next step. All right guys, so we got that axle out of the way, and now it looks like we got a couple more bolts we got to move. It looks like we got this 17 here. It goes all the way through the transmission, so it's got to come out. And we got these 2 19mm bolts here, which are for the mount to the transmission as well. So I'm gonna get those out, and then it looks like we got this bracket here which actually is holding on our transfer case. So it looks like it's got 3 bolts, 1 down here and the 2 up here. So we'll get that off, and we also got to take off our cover and get all of our torque converter bolts out. So, and we got one more 17 here as well. So we got to get that cover off, that bracket off, and that back bracket as well. So 3 things we got to remove right now. I'm gonna do that, and then I'll get back to you guys with an update. All right guys, so as you can see up here, we got all of our bolts out. We got the 2 from the mount, we got the 1 from the block, we got our bracket off here and here, and I also took off a cover it had right here so I can get the shift linkage off. This thing's super easy to get off. You just pull this little pin out like that, push that screw back, and it just falls right out. See that? And I always put this thing right back in there because you'll always lose this pin. Actually, I'm gonna keep it over here in a safe spot on my toolbox, something like right there in the corner, huh? That way I don't lose that. But I took this last bolt out here in this corner, and as you can see, my transmission already kind of separated from my block. So I just got to take these 10mm bolts out of this flex plate, and you got to spin the motor around. So it's a 19mm, you stick it through that hole there, should be able to put it on the crank, and you can spin it with your hand. So just like that, you know, get these things lined up in the down position about there, and they should just zip right off with a ratchet or something. These are not too tight, but yeah, see? So that's 1, and I think there's a 6 or 7 or 8 of them, something like that. But yeah, I'm gonna get those all out, and then we'll keep on going, guys. It looks like we're getting pretty close to drop this transmission down. So I ended up taking off these front covers here, but this one has I guess a little Nerf bar, whatever you call it, going across the front. So it just had a bunch of plastic clips going all the way around, and they had the 2 bolts for the Nerf bar. But the reason I did that was so that I could get to these connectors here and just unplug them. Obviously we got to get the rest of the wire harness off, and I'm probably also going to go ahead and undo the oil cooler lines from right here and right here. It looks like they're pretty easy to get to. So, and then I think that's going to be about it. Then I'll lower the car down, and when I got the car down and with the transmission supported, I got to get this mount off. So it looks like it's just got 2 14mm bolts, 1 on each side, and we should be able to drop this thing right out of here. So yeah, let's get to it, guys. I'm gonna undo this and undo these lines, and then I'm gonna lower the car down. All right guys, so just one last double check here. We got our wire harness out of the way, we got all of our bolts out around the bell housing except for this one right there. We got our starter out, we got our wire harness disconnected from the bottom, and then we got our speed sensor unhooked, and it looks like everything's done from up here. We undid our 2 coolant lines from, or oil cooler lines from the radiator. So it looks like now all we got to do is support this transmission, which I already did with this jack. So I'm supporting it up with the jack, and I'm gonna go ahead and loosen this mount down here first with the 2 14mm, and then I'm gonna zip out this 17mm bolt, and this transmission just should start to slowly fall down. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I'll put you guys on a time lapse so you guys can see this thing come out. All right guys, so she just came right out of there. It was actually pretty easy to drop down. There's my new used one from the junkyard, and here's our old one. So you guys know the name of the game. I got to make this transmission look like that one looks right now, and then I got to swap the spots and put it back in the car. So I'm gonna start unbolting everything. It looks like I need to put these hoses, these 2 hoses over there, just take off a couple of these pigtails. Looks like I got to swap that mount over, and I think somebody, I didn't realize until right now, somebody stole this actuator off the one from the junkyard. So actually got to swap over that actuator or whatever that thing is. But other than that, I mean, it's going pretty smooth, guys. Hopefully we can have this done by the end of the day. So I'm gonna start swapping everything over, make them look alike, and put it back in there. All right guys, so check it out, we got her in there. So this is our Junkyard transmission. I got a couple bolts holding it on right now. I think I got 3 or 4 of them. So yeah guys, I mean the rest of it's pretty much the same way it came out. It goes back together. I mean, I gotta start with the torque converter, put that on, put the cover, put the mount for the transfer case, and then slide the axles back in and put your starter back in, connect all your electrical, and it should be good to go. So I mean, it's pretty basic. I'm gonna go ahead and get all that done. I'm trying to get it done today, so I'm probably not gonna do much more recording. I might put it on a time lapse, but my battery's almost dead, so we'll see how far it gets. But I'll let you guys know when I get a test drive done. All right guys, so it is the next day again, but regardless, we got it done yesterday. Just that the place that sells the Honda fluid for the transmission was closed by the time I got it done, so I waited to today. I got some of this stuff. It's the generic stuff, but it works. So yeah, I already went ahead and poured 3 quarts in there. I'm gonna go ahead and fire it up, run it through the gears, and then we will check our fluid while the CRV is off. I think these Hondas, you check them while they're off, so that's what we're gonna do. All right guys, so I let this thing warm up a little bit. She fires right up, but we're gonna go ahead and check our fluid now. Get your dipstick, you wipe it off, make sure it's nice and clean, and you just plop it back in the hole while the CRV is off. So we check our fluid level, and it looks like we're dead nuts on the money. Maybe a little bit over full, but she looks like she's good. I'm gonna call that good. I'll drive it around a little bit anyways, and it might go down just a hair, just to get all the fluid up into the converter and all the solenoids and all that stuff. So I think we're dead nuts on. So now just I gotta finish putting the intake back together, and then we take her for a test drive, guys. Heck yeah, hopefully she's good. Alrighty guys, so far so good. We just drove off the lift right now. I let it warm up a little bit just idling there, but I haven't put it into the gears or anything like that. So we're gonna go ahead and take her for a test drive. She already feels a lot better. When it had the other transmission in it, it felt like it would bog down as soon as I would press on the gas. So heck yeah guys. Oh yeah, I can already tell she's gonna run good. Oh yeah, it shifts smooth, guys. Let's see if we can get a little bit of a longer run here. I think I need to clean out the idle air control valve. The idle's going down just quite a bit. So that's 2nd gear. Heck yeah, guys. I should probably put my seatbelt on, huh? There's 3rd gear. Heck yeah, guys. This thing is running smooth. Perfect. So heck yeah, guys. I mean, sometimes we just got to put a little bit of work into our cars. I mean, this one was a bad coil and a bad transmission. Hold on, guys. Let me put on my seatbelt here before I get pulled over. Going across the police station. But yeah, I mean, bad coil, bad transmission, but maybe a day's worth of work. It took me, you know, an hour or 2 to figure out what was going on with the coil, and it took me about 5 or 6 hours to do the transmission. That's including going to the junkyard and picking one up. So yeah guys, I'm gonna drive this thing around. Looks like she's running great. So remember, flipping cars, making money. So this thing just needs a quick detail now. We gotta probably put a chlorine tablet in here because it stinks like smoke still. I've had the windows cracked for a couple days. But yeah guys, remember, stay up, hustle hard.